We have the sensor mounted over the UAV. See, the power is 8 dBW, and we have the receiver what is mounted over the satellite. So I brought in the link budget report between the receiver of the satellite as well as the transmitter of the UAV. I clicked on the link budget, and you could see that this was the communication. The bit error rate is pretty high. If you want to reduce that, we can increase the power of the transmitter. uh, but what happens, how good will be the communication throughout the year? What happens if there was some rain in that region? So let us try to insert some rain model within the system. STK ships with various rain models, ITUR crane models, and if you want, you can plug in your own rain models. There are options even to specify the rain at individual locations. So let us see what happens with the bit error rate when it is raining. You could see that the bit error rate has gone higher because of the presence of the rain and even the received isotropic power. So the rain effects is being taken into consideration. Coming back to the same area of what we were considering, we have this region, we have an aircraft flying uh, over this region, but the India-Pakistan border is pretty vast. Instead, rather than flying the aircraft, if we decide on putting a radar on this one of these mountains over this valley, let us see how good that coverage will be for that radar. So I put a radar site over there here, and I put a radar over there with the properties of a rectangular antenna pattern, and my objective is to calculate how much area that particular radar can cover in this region. So I bring up a coverage analysis. So I'm gonna plot that report. So I'm doing the computation. So you could see that this is the region what that particular radar site. If you place a radar to track, there is a ground vehicle moving over this region which is pretty sensitive, and if I put a radar over that region, it was able to cover only this much. That means only it can track when the ground vehicle is somewhere over here, which is quite near to the border. So let us say that you want to do an analysis of putting the same radar, one more radar somewhere on top of this hill over here. This can be done pretty easily. You can put how much ever radar you want. I just copy that radar and I place it over here and I paste it. So I want to put that radar somewhere over here in over this region, over this region, I would say somewhere over here. So I'm changing the location of the new radar what I put to over there. and now I'm going to recompute what will be the coverage with the presence of those two radars. So I'm going to tell STK that please include the second radar what I have placed, and do the computation again. So the computation is going on now, so we would expect some coverage to happen over here as well. In the same way, you can do a number of you can put design on decide on where you have to keep the radar so that you can track some enemy convoy coming in. So now you, with the presence of that new sensor, you could see that the coverage has been in this area. Just zoomed over here, you see this has been the coverage of that region. And as expected, you might be wondering the radar is over there and why these areas has not been covered. This area has not been covered because of the presence of the hills. So STK takes into account the presence that the terrain masking as well. So in this way you can exactly define a number of radar sites across this region and see which will be the most optimum way to cover that region. STK is really suited for battle space analysis, battle space management as well. Here we could bring in a number of blue and red forces as well. So I click on a constellation. I have already saved some blue and red facilities. So we could bring in different forces. We have a blue force over here, red force over here, entire India and Pakistan, and you can define some military symbols with red and blue forces. The next step, what we could do is like we can do a missile launch. For example, let us consider that there has been a missile launch from this red uh, area to this blue uh, military base. Let us see that whether this particular radar what we have mounted will be able to capture that particular missile. So we have a missile being launched.